Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Accident and Emergency Department at the Arima General Hospital is now officially in operation following yesterday's successful relocation from the Arima District Health Facility. Chairman of the NCRHA, Dr. Tim Goapising, CEO, Mr. Badasi Sitahal Maraj, and members of the senior executive management team were on the ground throughout the day, meeting with staff, greeting patients and relatives, and observing operations as services commenced at the new location. The leadership team also commended staff for their readiness, professionalism, and commitment in ensuring a smooth transition and continuity of care for people of Arima and surrounding communities. This facility, designated for the AED at its completion more than 5 years ago, remain unoccupied and unused until now. Mighty Morphin Ghana Yam PNM, Coal Pot Bicycle PNM. Why did it take so long? UNC has to be getting the job done now. They are making certain errors, and I'm going to highlight some of those errors tomorrow, God's willing. But the point remains that the UNC is doing a much better job than the PNM. The area will now be fully functional to support safer, more efficient emergency care, enhanced patient comfort, and improved service delivery for the people of Arima and surrounding communities. And sadly, because Arima is a stronghold of the PNM, they wouldn't say thanks, you know. They will be happy. They will be quietly happy about it, but they will never give the UNC credit. Minister of the People, Social Development and Family Services, Vandana Mohit, another very hard-working member of the Kamla Prasad Bisesa administration, says the government is moving to modernize Trinidad and Tobago's social protection system to better reflect the realities facing vulnerable citizens in 2026 and beyond. Speaking in the House of Representatives yesterday, she announced major reforms to the standard means test, including updated poverty indicators, revised household income calculations, and the introduction of an internet connectivity deduction, recognizing that internet access is no longer a luxury, but it's a necessity. Because under the mighty Morphin Ghana Yam Coal Pot Bicycle, no harm, no macaroni pie PNM, even internet was considered to be a luxury. Once again, people, this is why, and this is the difference between the United National Congress, which is making certain errors, and the PNM, the People's National Movement, which was a destructive force from its inception in the 1950s.
Governance. For far too long, many vulnerable citizens felt alienated by systems that appear rigid, outdated, and disconnected from the realities of inflation, rising living costs, and changing social conditions. This government made a commitment to change that. Madam Deputy Speaker, in March 2018, the Standard Means Test, commonly referred to as the SMT, was introduced to standardize eligibility criteria for several social assistance programs, including the Food Support Program, the Public Assistance Grant, the SEED Program, and the selected General Assistance Grants. However, while the framework itself remained important, the poverty line underpinning the system had not been substantively updated since 2016. That meant that for almost a decade, vulnerable families were being assessed using benchmarks established before dramatic increases in food prices, transportation costs, housing expenses, utilities, and healthcare burdens, and most importantly, the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is the uncomfortable truth. Madam Deputy Speaker, a system designed to protect the vulnerable cannot remain frozen in time while the cost of survival continues to rise. Therefore, by Cabinet Minute 536 of July 31st, 2025, an interministerial committee was established to comprehensively review the standard means test. Madam Deputy Speaker, this was not a superficial exercise. It was a deeply technical and evidence-based review process involving economists, statisticians, social policy specialists, health experts, planning professionals, and representatives from several ministries and institutions, including the University of the West Indies. Importantly, although the committee was given 6 months to complete its work, the final report was submitted in only 4 months. Madam Deputy Speaker, today I am proud to state that Cabinet approved the committee's recommendation in February 2026. Madam Deputy Speaker, one of the most significant reforms approved under the revised SMT framework is the updating of the poverty indicators themselves. The poverty line has moved from TT $1,439.02 to $2,044.23 per adult, equivalent per month, an increase of 42.1%. The indigence line has increased from $553.47 to $783.23. The vulnerability line has increased from $1,798.78 to $2,555.29. Madam Deputy Speaker, these figures acknowledge the painful reality that life has become more expensive for ordinary citizens. And most importantly, these revised thresholds mean that more genuinely vulnerable households will now qualify for assistance instead of being unfairly excluded under outdated criteria. This is not merely policy reform. This is social justice in action. Madam Deputy Speaker, another transformative reform approved by Cabinet is the introduction of a weighted income contribution model. Previously, household income calculations often overestimated the true financial capacity of families. Under the revised framework, the highest income earner contributes 100% of income to the assessment. The second highest earner contributes 75%, and all other earners contribute 50%. Why is this important? Because real households do not function like mathematical spreadsheets. This reform recognizes the realities of dependency within households and allows assessments to better reflect actual living conditions.
Weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago on Saturday, May 23, 2026 features cloudy conditions with a few light showers and maximum temperatures reaching 31 degrees Celsius. The day will see a transition toward slightly wetter conditions as a precursor to the upcoming wet season. According to the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, there is a mild concentration of Saharan dust in the atmosphere, so individuals sensitive to air quality changes should take necessary precautions. Daytime highs will peak around 31 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, dropping to an overnight low of 24 degrees Celsius. The heat index is expected to feel like 34 degrees Celsius during peak midday hours. Humidity will range between 70% to 90% throughout the day. Winds will blow from the east-northeast to east-southeast at 5 to 35 kilometers per hour. Sunrise is at 5:39 a.m. and sunset is at 6:20 p.m. Seas are moderate with wave heights from 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters in open waters and 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters in sheltered areas.
International news now. President Trump announces he will not attend his son Don Jr.'s wedding, saying government matters and his love for the United States of America are too important for him to leave the White House during this important period of time. I feel most likely pertains to Iran. I remember certain very, very important decisions could be made very soon. I think what Don Jr. should have done is probably delay it a little bit. If not, Trump, you're telling me I couldn't take you're the president of the United States, you could have taken a couple hours just to go and attend. You don't want to stay for long for the party or anything like that. It's your son, and a son that really stands with you, much more than any of your other family members. While I very much wanted to be with my son, Don Jr., and the newest member of the Trump family, his soon-to-be wife, Bettina, circumstances pertaining to government and my love for the United States of America do not allow me to do so. I think it's an unwise decision, though. Good news for Israel. Slovenia's parliament appointed right-wing or conservative politician Janez Janša of the Slovenian Democratic Party SDS, a strong ally and supporter of Israel, as the new prime minister on May 22nd, 2026. He secured a majority in a 51-36 vote in the 90-member assembly, officially ending a political deadlock following the close March 2026 general elections. This is wonderful news for both Slovenia and Israel. The Bible makes it very clear, and it's clear both in the Old Testament and the New Testament, that God will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. And in the Ezekiel 38, it makes it very clear that those who are enemies of Israel and attempt to attack them in the Ezekiel war, when the kings of the north, which most likely is Russia, along with Turkey and even Iran, when they attempt to invade Israel, God himself will set a trap for them. He will lure them. He will encourage them to come to Israel. But before they can enter, he's going to utterly destroy them. And then there are other passages in the Bible that says that God will actually be, after he returns, after Jesus Christ returns to earth to set up his millennium kingdom, he is going to judge the nations based on how they treated Israel. So people, countries like Slovenia, we don't know if it will continue like this, or maybe a leftist government or a QAnon far-right Russian Orthodox government might end up taking control, or leader might end up taking control at some point in time. But for now, they're going to be blessed for this decision.
Bible quote of the day. Romans 3:20-23. Therefore by the deeds of the law no flesh will be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin. But now the righteousness of God apart from the law is revealed, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of God, through faith in Jesus Christ, to all and on all who believe. For there is no difference, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.